Okay, I want to talk about the homework quiz first. So, two things. One, you need to have your homework quizzes passed back from yesterday. And two, Sammy and Emma need to go take the homework quiz that I left for them. Jarrett, if he's back, it's up to him if he wants to take the homework quiz, but if he's not taking it, he needs to leave the room as well as we go over this. And then please, someone remember to go get him after we're done talking about this so he can come back. So just pause the video for a minute and get all that squared away. Pass back the homework quizzes, get the people out of the room that need to take them, or Jarrett can just go to the other room while we talk about this. Okay, so if all that's happened, and if not, pause it again. Let's talk about this. The ones I really want to talk about are the 3-6 number 36. And so 36, when you solve that, the time to double, you got to be able to find the doubling time. And so remember that if the formula is A equals P times 1 plus R over K to the KT power, if we want to double it, we don't really need to know how much we start with, because if we double it, then we'll end up with this, and there's one on the worksheet just like this as well. What was my interest rate? My interest rate was 8%, I think, so I'd have 0.08 compounded quarterly to the 4t power, and I'm trying to solve for t, and every time, whether you're trying to double something or triple something or whatever it is, you don't have to know what you start with, because you can always just divide that out. And when we're solving an equation that has a letter as an exponent, we have to log base 10 both sides or ln both sides. So I could get ln of 2 equals ln of, and if you put this in your calculator, you should just get 1.02 to the 4t power. But remember that I can pull that out front. So I'm going to write that as 4t like this. And I can divide by all of this. Sorry for the terrible handwriting. I'm trying to do this from home tonight. When you get that in your calculator, you should get like 8.7507. Sorry, that shouldn't be a point there. I wanted to talk about this mostly for the rounding issues. This is compounding quarterly. So most people here said 8 years and 9 months because 0.75 of a year is 9 months. But if we were really being accurate, it's a little over that, right? Because that 0.0 or that 0.7 after that means it's more than 8 years, 9 months. The correct answer really should have been you have to round up to the next compounding period, which is 9 years. I didn't mark it wrong if you said 8 years, 9 months, but I just wanted to talk about it of you have to go to the next compounding, and since 0.75, right, it was really so close to 9 months, but technically it should have been past that. Make sure that you think about that. The good news is this type of problem is on Monday's part of the test, not tomorrow's part of the test, so that's a good thing. I also wanted to talk about that bottom one. Oh wait, not that yet. That bottom one, which I wrote, and what it says on your paper is e to the 2x minus e to the x. Nope, it didn't say minus e to the x. That's what it was supposed to say. It just said minus e minus 2 equals 0. As you can see, I hand wrote this problem and I screwed up. What I wanted it to say was this. Because I screwed up on this question, I made that bottom one extra credit if you got it right, and I didn't count it against you if you got it wrong. I want to show you the correct way to solve it, actually both of them, the way it should have been and the way it was to solve it. The bottom one here, what I wanted it to say, and what a lot of you tried to do, is I wanted you to break it up kind of like that u substitution, where you can say, if we let u equal e to the x, then we could write that as u squared minus u minus 2. And then we could just factor that into u minus 2 u plus 1. But you got to remember, you got to plug back in what u was. So we can say e to the x equals 2, or e to the x equals negative 1. So to solve that, we would ln both sides, and we'd get ln of 2, and x equals ln of 2. And over here, it doesn't work, right? Because you can't take the ln of a negative number, so that doesn't work. So ln of 2, which is like 0.6931, that's what I wanted you to do on one of the worksheets that I have graded for you to get back today. There's one like that as well. Definitely something to look over. That's definitely on Monday's part of the test, not on tomorrow's. But I just want to talk about it. I did, like, you could solve this top one the way I wrote it, and I think a couple people did, right? E is just a number. So if you were going to solve this, you could just move that over. So you'd get E plus 2, and then you could ln both sides. Be really careful though, right? Ln of e plus 2 cannot be separated. Like it's just a number, ln of e plus 2. Over here it cancels out, so you get 2x equals ln of e plus 2. So x equals ln of e plus 2 all divided by 2. And I think you get like 0.55 something, I don't know. As the answer there. But I just wanted to show you that if you did leave it the way it was and left that as e, the number, and not e to the x, what the answer would be. Not really what I intended for that problem to look like, but I just wanted to show you. I also have notes there for you for Chapter 3 review. Okay, I don't really know where I was. My 2-year-old just ran in here. I have notes for you. I think that's what I was trying to say. You need to have those passed out to you, the review notes. So again, pause if needed as I start to go through this. Okay, so I'm just kind of going section by section, but I also will try to talk about what's on the calculator and the no calculator part as I go. It's been a while, but we started this chapter with exponential functions, right? Like y equals 2 to the x. You will have some you have to just evaluate exponential functions using a calculator. Graphing is going to be on the no calculator part. Where you have to graph. You have to know what they look like, right? Exponential functions look like this. They have a horizontal asymptote. They have a domain of all real numbers. They have a restricted range because you can never get a negative number out of that. We also talked about growth and decay models. That population model, very similar to our finance problem, or finance one when it's compounded annually. But remember that P sub 0 is your initial population, R is your rate of growth or decay, and T is your time. There will be a question on your test where you have to write the equation. 3-3 without a calculator. Definitely look at that no calculator portion of the quiz that you got back. Also look at the worksheet on the back that you did from 3-1, 3-2, and 3-3. Where you have to do like log 5 of 25, right? You have to know what the exponent is. Also, look at your quiz for a graph, right? That's also going to be on the no calculator part, where you have to graph like y equals log 3 of x. And again, remember that logarithm graphs look like this. Where they have a restricted domain and they have a range of all real numbers. So definitely something to practice. Graphing will be on the no calculator part. Properties of logarithms. Expanding and condensing also on the no calculator portion. You also have a, that's terrible spelling. You also have a worksheet from that. You can also look at your quiz from that. Change of base, that has to be with the calculator. Remember that log, goodness gracious, this isn't working so well. What is happening? Okay, let's try down here. What? Look, I try to write and it just does this. Oh, failure. Okay, I'm gonna pause this. Okay, now let's try this. Change of base formula, right? If you have log A of x, you can change that to either ln or log base 10 by doing the ln of the number on top and the ln of the base on the bottom. So that's the same as log base 10 of x over log base a. So definitely make sure you look over that. For Monday, this is on tomorrow's, right? That's on the no calculator. Remember that addition, right? Addition goes back as multiplication. Subtraction goes together as division, and those numbers in front. Look at those examples on those. Solving equations, definitely on Monday's part of the test. Finance problems, definitely on Monday's part of the test. And so that's a good thing that you can see me about those questions if you have it. I will give you formulas. So I'm going to give you this exact paper. So just know I'm not telling you what they all represent, but I will say FV meaning future value, PV meaning present value. You got to know when to use it, right? So this, if it says compounded continuously, future value, that's if you're investing periodic payments. So you're making like a $300 investment every month for 4 years, right? This is if you take out a loan. So any questions about a loan, you use present value. And this one is the one we use the most, right? This one is just if you put a lump sum, so you're investing a lump sum. I'll tell you the biggest mistake that people make on Monday's part of the test is they want to use these crazy formulas for questions that you don't need to use crazy formulas for. There will not be that many questions using these crazy formulas. Probably like 2 questions, like 1 for each one. So don't overuse that problem. If I'm taking $5,000 and investing it one time, I'm using this top formula. If I ask you how long does it take to double my money, I'm using this top formula. So don't overthink those and show work as you can. The good news is that I'll be back this afternoon. I will be here tomorrow. And so if you have questions about this stuff, we can talk about it before the test on Monday. So your chapter review, this is the same thing that I put up on the board yesterday. All of this is your chapter review. I circled the ones that say that you need to know how to do for tomorrow's part. Definitely look over your quiz. Look over those worksheets. I have a pile of papers that I left that are graded that need to be passed back. So if the sub could do that, or if someone could volunteer to help pass those papers back since you know everyone's name, that might be the best thing to do. What I want to remind you of is 2 things. One, you need to turn in that worksheet. If you still have some questions on it, work them out with other people, talk about them for the rest of the period, and turn it in. But I want that worksheet turned in before you leave. Definitely that last one I wanted to talk about. I don't have the worksheet with me, so I don't know what it says off the top of my head, but that last one about a down payment. If you get a loan, I forget what it says, but if you get a loan for $18,000 and there's a down payment of $2,000, your loan's not for $18,000, right? You buy the car for $18,000, but you're taking $2,000 off of it. So your loan amount is really $16,000. So then you can do it just like normal. The other thing I want to say is that I will be here at 7:45 in the morning ready to answer questions in my room. if you want to come in and go over some of these questions or just questions in general that you have. I will also be here at 7:45 on Monday to go over other questions that you have. I know there's a meeting tomorrow for in Mr. Rhodes' room for the Greece and Italy trip. So I know that's an important meeting. So if you can't come, you can't come. But when the meeting's over, if you want to come down and ask some questions, that'll work as well. Okay? So what you need to do, you need to finish the worksheet and turn it in. You need to work on this review assignment. And you don't have to turn in all of your Chapter 3 homework until Monday. Okay, I will be back after lunch. So if you really need me and you need to see me after lunch today.